So in this module, let's talk a little bit about fight, flight, or freeze. Now, before we get into that, let's go a little bit into when somebody's coming at you and being verbally aggressive towards you. So they're not hitting you. You can't use your self-defense with your actual fist or anything yet. So let's talk about we need to learn to use our words. We need to be calm but confident. We need to use inclusive words and not command words. So let's talk a little about calm and confident. All right. So we don't want to be overly confident and seem aggressive. When they're mad at you, it's easy to just match that with the same level. But we have to be calm, right? We have to be kind of chill at the same time that we're portraying that, like, hey, I believe in myself and I'm not less than you are. So not overly aggressive, but also don't portray that you're less than them. Because if you're overly aggressive, it's like a challenge. So now you're kind of instigating the fight. You're matching their energy and they feel like, hey, they have to keep combating you. Now, also using command words like, hey, man, you need to chill or stop, man. But those things are going to be things that also, it makes them feel like that you're trying to command them. You're trying to tell them what to do. And people do not like to be told what to do. So you're just instigating the fight. But if you use inclusive words, things like, hey, can we sit down and talk about this? Or let's just talk about this, man. So we're using things that include you along with them. It doesn't seem like you're actually trying to command or tell them what to do. Now, we also need to use our body language appropriately. We need to look calm and look confident, but be ready and not aggressive. So just like our words, we need to portray that we are calm and that we're not like in this scared state. But we also need to look confident. We need to look like, hey, I know I can take care of myself. So not coming off as aggressive, or I'm going to get in their face, or I'm clench my fist and put them up here by my head or anything. Now, the be ready part, we're going to learn in later modules how to put our hands and how to stand so that it looks like we're trying to stop fighting, and hopefully maybe we can de-escalate the situation, but our hands are up and ready to go in a way that doesn't seem aggressive. Now, let's say it doesn't work. They keep coming at you verbally aggressive, and you think they might be ready to attack you. We're going to have to change course now. We're going to have to start using command words. Hey, back off, man. Chill. Right. So it's not going to come off great, but it could help to de-escalate the situation. We need to make short, loud commands. Now, the main part of this is going to be there's actually two things. We want to try to maybe intimidate that person and let them know, hey, we're taking control of the situation, which may or may not help, but we has a better chance than obviously what we've been doing. And the other part is that it may get the attention of people around you. And when you get the attention of people around you, some people are willing to step up and help. It could be an authority figure or something, but now other people know what's going on. If it's a life or death situation, people, if somebody's trying to attack you, they don't like to be seen by a bunch of people. People have phones, they can pull out their phones and start videoing, and now that person's caught. Now, we also need to be ready with an open guard, but again, we're going to talk about that in a future module. Now, let's talk about the flinch response. So since we've been talking about fight or flight and freeze, the flinch response is a response that every human being has. Everyone has the flinch response. It happens when your brain just doesn't know that, like what is happening right then. Say you walk around the corner and somebody jumps out and just yells boo. Your brain doesn't know if that's a person, if a tiger's about to eat your face, like they don't know. And so your brain just will tell you to flinch, protect yourself. Typically what happens is we turn our head away and we put our hands up near our face. You kind of protect your face a little bit more. Now, that flinch response happens to everybody. No matter how much you train yourself, you're not going to untrain the flinch response out of yourself. No matter how trained in martial arts, no matter how trained in combat you are, everybody has a flinch response because your brain has not figured out. Now, what we have to do is we have to train our brain to go from the flinch response into like, oh, okay, my hands are up and they're by my face. And this is where we're going to learn most of our self-defense, actually application of skills with our hands near our face coming from this flinch. Now, let's talk about adrenaline. Now, when we're in danger or even just a perceived danger, our adrenaline gland supplies our body with a boost. It increases our blood circulation, increases breath to get more oxygen to our muscles. Our muscles are more prepared and ready for exertion. And it gets us ready for the fight or the flight part of self-defense because sometimes we need to run and sometimes we need to fight. So that adrenaline is going to kick in. Now, another thing about the good thing about adrenaline is you actually feel a little bit less pain when somebody's attacking you, which means that you can continue to fight off even better if hit. Now, here's what we have to do. We have to decide if it's worth fighting or if it's worth running. Decide if it's worth it. Because once you start fighting, you can't take it back. You'll be like, oops, I'm sorry, I punched you in the face. Now I'm going to run, right? Or now I'm done. So we have to figure out if it's worth it. Now, this is one of those things we need to kind of go over ahead of time. You need to have in your brain prepared. If this happens, or if this happens, or if this happens, this is how I'm going to react to it. So is it worth fighting for? And in my opinion, preservation of self, preservation of family and friends, those things are worth fighting for. Right? I'm a husband and a father. I have 3 kids. And so if somebody were to attack me and it's a life or death situation, I am going to try to run. Running would be better. But if somebody was trying to, if I'm standing there and somebody's trying to attack me and my kids are near me, or somebody's trying to attack my kids, then fighting is worth it. So you have to decide in what situations would it be better to run and what situations would it be better to fight. Now, freeze. Here's the one thing we do not want to do in self-defense. And this happens, we call it the deer in the headlights, right? So if you know what the deer in the headlights means, it just means like sometimes when deer walk out into the street, they will run, they will flee, right? And the flight, they will take flight. But sometimes they will get so scared that their muscles lock up on them. They just freeze. They're frozen with fear. They don't know what to do. And they just stand there in the road, which means either they're going to get hit or people are going to be swerving around them and have to physically move them off the road. We've seen videos of people having to pick up deer and actually set them off the side of the road because the deer won't move. So we cannot let fear control our actions. Fear is a necessary part of life and it is going to happen. You're not going to feel all relaxed and chill when somebody's about to punch you in the face or somebody pulls a weapon on you, but it's okay to be afraid, but you still have to do what needs to be done. So this is our fight, flight, or freeze. And hopefully fight or flight is going to be good in self-defense. Freeze, however, is not.